I have a big brother who's an artist, and he's fairly older than me, so he was kind of always showing the way. So that's kind of why I ended up as, being an artist, always drawing and things like that. And when I went to school, I kind of decided that's the only thing I could do. Yeah, I mean, I went kind of all the regular steps, going to art school, thinking I was going to draw and paint, and then realizing that art was so much more, and then kind of getting bored with drawing and painting, and then going more towards sculpture and installation work. And then my installation started to have more movement, and then I went over to video, and destruction has kind of always interested me somehow. So my installations and sculptures were always kind of destructive and aggressive. And then my video started to be like that as well. And then that's kind of how it has gone over to that. Destruction is kind of the dark side of creativity in a sense. So one of those things that make people very creative is being angry. I find that the ordinary people from outside the art world can be quite creative when they try to kind of get out their frustration and things like that. And I kind of like those kind of creative outputs very much. Yeah, I mean, I destroy things that are kind of easily destroyed. I like to have kind of simple things that everyone has around them and kind of try to flip them around in kind of how you perceive them. Like if you have spaghetti, usually think of that as a plain kind of food. And I try to find another way to use that object, kind of that surprises people and make them kind of see it in a different light maybe, if I'm lucky, and manage to get people kind of, when next time they use kind of spaghetti, maybe they see it kind of differently. I just look for objects that has a kind of destructive potential that kind of spaghetti breaks very nicely in a video. So it's visually interesting, and the same with balloons have a very good kind of contrast to the aggressiveness of my performances that kind of makes it more humorous. So I try to find things that are a contrast to maybe the more aggressive things I do. Like a banana is a very funny fruit. So if I destroy a banana, it kind of has a humorous aspect to it. So I try to find things like that. People ask me this all the time, but I kind of like doing it small. But I mean, more money would mean kind of more equipment for like filming and things like that. So maybe having an assistant to do things that would help me a lot. So yeah, but I like that the things I destroy doesn't really cost anything. Like, I mean, if you destroy something expensive, you suddenly have this narrative of capitalism or something at once, and I don't want that. I want it to be kind of the objects you have around you every day. I always kind of have motivation for myself. Maybe it's kind of a more expressionism or something, but I want something to be very intuitive, like something anyone can relate to. I don't want it to be kind of, you have to know what my background, anything to understand it. I just want something that people can relate to on a very kind of intuitive level. Like when you see me break something, it's like you get an instant reaction and they don't need to like it. They kind of understand it on some kind of level anyway. So it's not important to me to kind of say anything about like the world, state of the world, anything like that. So I don't feel that's on my shoulders to do that. I mean, I care about things, but I'm not that kind of artist. Some people do that very well. It's just I don't. The big one was I had a really bad accident and I cut my hand very bad. You can kind of see here. Yeah, I cut my tendon and my nerve in my hand. I fell on one of my knife sculptures. So that's the kind of the biggest mishap. And I mean, I have small accidents all the time. Things don't go as planned, but I usually kind of incorporate that into the art. And I think kind of the bloopers and the fails are sometimes just as good or better than what I intended to do intentionally. But one big accident, lots of small kind of mishaps. When I was a younger artist, I was always kind of stopping myself from doing artworks because I thought, this has been done before, or I was just worrying a lot about, it's not important enough or anything like that. But when I just stopped caring, that's when kind of things started snowballing and things going the right direction for me. I was stopped caring what people think and just do whatever I wanted to and just have fun. I mean, when I started making the balloon videos, I didn't really have a plan at all. It was just for myself. I mean, I didn't have a following or anything. I just had my kind of 100 friends on Instagram, like my actual friends, and then just wanted to kind of share something I'd made in my studio for fun. But I mean, I have like lots of videos I made before that, but that was like proper art for video festivals and that kind of thing. So I have been making videos for a long time, but when I first kind of I just wanted to see what happens if I kind of make a device to have this sledgehammer on top of a pallet and let it fall down on a balloon, and just that was awesome. I just filmed it with my phone. So in the beginning, it was just kind of I wanted to kind of break all the kind of rules I'd set up for myself before. I kind of just filming with my phone, for instance, that was kind of felt like a big no-no. I mean, who cares really? But I cared before. I used to never be in my videos. I used to kind of, if you saw me as a person, you just saw my hand or my foot or anything, something like that. So being in the video, I wanted to kind of create a character that was kind of like a blank sheet, so you can always kind of project anything onto, not making a big fuss about myself, kind of. So that's kind of how that happens. Early performance artists like Chris Burden and Bruce Nauman has been like huge influence on me, and Rebecca Horn, but also kind of other artists that use a lot of humor, like Roman Signer. And Erwin Wurm is a big influence on me, and Tom Sachs, for instance. I like artists that seem to not take themselves too seriously. The early performance artists that used video for the first time and really didn't know what they were doing with the camera, I think that's great. And then other artists from these days that use a lot of humor. Like Roman Signer, I really love him. Of course, my Instagram at Hakon Erichsen, and then I have other social media outlets like even TikTok these days, and Twitter, quite active there as well. I'm Hakon Erichsen. Thank you for watching Artsplained.